to do. I wanted to do a quick comparison in terms of the status of both of these cars. Now, obviously, they're miles apart from each other price-wise. The SLR was a $500,000 car. The SS is a $50,000 car. So there's one zero out of that number. But I think both cars are in the same category, in the same sleeper category, which I really like. And the SLR is misunderstood because most people think, especially if you're not a car guy, you would think that this is a SL or regular AMG Mercedes or something along those lines, unless you really know what these cars were. And unfortunately, I think that the SLRs kind of became forgotten, and they haven't really went up in value all that much, like the Enzos or the Carrera GTs did. And the same really applies for the Chevy SS. The Chevy SS was a car that most people had no idea what it was. Even the owner of this SLR is a huge car guy, but when he first saw the Chevy, it's like, what is that? And then the first comment is like, is this a Malibu? Is this an Impala? And it's just a common theme that you get with that car. And I think that's where they're similar in terms of being sleeper cars and kind of cars that are unknown. And one of the reasons for that is the exterior for both cars they're both very sedated, so they don't look very aggressive. I mean, the SLR has a lot of elements that makes it look aggressive, but it's only appealing to a car guy or a person who really knows what they're looking at. The same goes for the Chevy SS or the Holden Commodore, the Australian counterpart. Specification wise, these are completely different cars. The Chevy SS has a LS3 6.2 liter V8 from a C6 Corvette, and it has 415 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. The SLR has a 5.4 liter supercharged V8 that's pushing 617 horses and, if I'm not mistaken, 575 pound-feet of torque. So now let's take a quick look at the SLR and see what it has to offer. Basically, this is a pretty simple interior. The seats in this car are one-piece carbon. The entire body of the car is carbon. The center stack is the only thing that I really don't like here. It looks like it came out of earlier model SL cars. A little bit cheap for a car of this price range, but when you're driving this car, you're not going to be focusing on this. You're going to be focusing on how awesome this thing performs. And here are some of the gauges. This car has only 14,000 miles on it. And the thing that I like, again, despite the fact that this looks pretty cheap, is that the buttons are hidden. And these buttons, again, they've been using these in all older Mercedeses. Only recently, Mercedes have actually updated their center stacks, which looks beautiful. I mean, this is a little bit too cheap, but again, for 2003, probably was okay. And it's a simple 5-speed torque converter automatic transmission. The steering wheel is a little El Cheapo, but hey, again, this car is about the engine. So the seat controls and the power window controls and the door handle are all on the floor. Here's the interior on the Chevy, folks, and I'm going to be honest, I think this is just as good as the SLR, if not better. I really think that I understand that there's a decade between the two cars, but I think this doesn't look as cheap as some of the components in the SLR, especially the center stack. And of course, where this car really trumps the SLR is this right here. Not that many cars can say that. So here's the monstrous 5.4 liter supercharged V8 that actually sits pretty deep inside the car. This is actually considered a mid-engine car. The engine is sitting behind the front axle. All right, so here we have the puny 6.2 liter V8 pushing 415 horses and 415 pound-feet of torque compared to this little monster. But this, here's the thing, this is actually a smaller engine. This is a 5.4 liter, so I mean, it's got a big supercharger and all, but in all reality, I think if I supercharge this, I can probably beat that. I hope you really enjoyed this quick comparison, and if you did, please subscribe, like, share. Bye.